Hello and welcome to another cold winter holiday season day in the combo classroom, where I have some fun things to share with you today, some of which are on the topic of fruit. Because although we like a lot of math here in the classroom, sometimes you can get some good scientific principles about fruit, and I found a pretty interesting one at the market today. So, whenever I see an interesting fruit for an affordable price, I have to grab it, and nowadays I got to share it with you folks as well. There will also be some other fun games we may get up to. We may, for example, shrink and look at some point shrinking down to look at other pictures of fruit historically. Because I know in the past when I looked at historical fruit pictures, they used to be surprisingly lame. Now, I am not one to call fruit lame because fruit's awesome. And if you found the old school fruit back in the day, it would have been quite a treat. But compared to modern fruit, old school fruit was really lacking, full of seeds, full of stalks and stems, barely any of the good edible parts. Imagine like something like a stone fruit, how you're going for a good ratio you want of edible to non-edible. Well, that ratio used to be terrible. So, what we can do is look up some old pictures from slightly back in the day, and to find really old catalogs of fruit, there weren't photos. So, you can look to paintings, because paintings are one of the visual ways that you could see what did something look like 1,000 years ago. And you could also read descriptions of it in a book. But seeing the paintings gives a pretty good depiction of what something like a watermelon maybe used to look like on the inside. So we'll look at that after we look at some natural fruits around here. There's a few I want to chat about, and the first one is, well, this is going to be actually our lead in to later. I just got to show. I got all of these nice blueberries. They had a good deal on these. So I don't know if they're going to be the best tasting. I haven't tried them yet, but they were really cheap. But these blueberries are huge. And it's not just like this brand or anything. They're just making blueberries so big these days. They've figured out natural selection and other breeding techniques and stuff that have make the blueberries all big, and I am a fan of it. I can't wait until we can eat blueberries with forks and knives. And so back in the day, they were not able to get blueberries this big, for sure. So I want to see this trend continue. I want berries to be the size of dinner plates. So this will be our transition later as well when we look at what were some historic versions of stuff like this that was not quite as good as nowadays. Now, to transition into the weird world of fruit, I want to show something interesting right here, which is, and I'll look at the comments in a second. One comment caught my eye. So actually, yeah, I'm going to reply to the comments real quick, which is hello to everybody. Love you all. Merry Christmas to everyone who does celebrate that. I don't celebrate it as much. My family has done it a few years because we have thrown various holidays into the mix. But we more often have done Hanukkah, and we didn't do anything super crazy this year because some family was out of town. So didn't do anything too wild this year. But for anyone who is celebrating Christmas, hope you're having a wonderful season of that. And to anyone who's celebrating anything else, same thing. And the other comment I needed to comment on is someone asked about the Book of Numbers by John Conway, also co-written by a guy, Richard Guy. I'm a huge fan of that book. Excellent, very great, beautiful depiction of some good number theory concepts. Manages to hit a bunch of deep concepts with relatively simple descriptions. Absolutely magnificent book. Highly recommend the Book of Numbers to anyone who likes my videos that play around with numerical things. You'll also like that book, probably. So, awesome book. Now, what I wanted to show you right here for an intro of how some fruits and things can be more interesting than you might expect as you get used to them is here I just got a few nuts, right? Well, I got an almond and I got some cashews, right? So, what's the deal with these? Well, an almond is actually, and I don't know the details of this, so we're going to look it up, but an almond is some sort of stone fruit. And the reason I know this is because you can graft different stone fruits onto the same tree. You can make things like a plum tree that has a single separate branch that grows nectarines or peaches, even cherries, because cherries are stone fruits. And yes, I do have a cherry as a prop for a minute, a real cherry and fake cherries. I don't know where the fake cherries went, they got scattered, but I have a real cherry. But um, stone fruits, when I was reading about what you could graft on a tree, almonds kept coming up because you can graft almonds onto the same tree that you graft plums and peaches and stuff on. So, real quick, here's what we'll do. Let's take a little look at what Wikipedia has to say about almonds because I am curious. And as we come across some different fruits today, might be helpful to do some mini research. And we're just going to trust Wikipedia for a lot of it because that's a good, simple way to. We're not needing to cite any of this in a paper or anything. We just want a good source of some fun possible facts that we may delve deeper into research of later. And right now, I want to see what they have to say about its stone fruit status. So here, I also have pulled up some of our favorites if we need them on the screen later, which are Desmos to graph crazy shapes, and that robot we were talking to before that had really bad opinions about math. So, almonds. What does Wikipedia describe it? So they say it is a drupe, which is this one classification of a fruit. And so it's not a true nut. Now, you know how we've gone into true berries on an episode about how botanically berries are very different than culturally they are. Same can be said for nuts. Almonds, for example, are not a true nut. Now, when we look up how they call this drupe thing, this is basically what we would call a stone fruit. Because these are similar to that. So, like a list of those common ones, we got your peaches, your plums, your nectarines. This is a combo one where each little cell technically is one. And, yeah, what do they say about almond stone fruit? Let's see what comes up there. Almond stone fruit. Almonds are actually considered part of the stone fruit family. And let's see what they look like on a tree. Yep, there's an almond. So, that's wild. Can you eat the almond fruit there? If they're like the nut of it? Almond fruit. The fruit from the almond tree is a green almond which is edible. So, I guess the fruit dries into it. Yeah, almonds are wild. But if you want to see an even crazier one, let me make sure we're actually seeing all this. Yeah, I guess I'm too big. You might not be seeing all that. I'll shrink myself. Sorry if that wasn't all clear. Here we got some almonds. Now, what about cashews? This is crazy if you haven't seen this. Someday, we'll take a combo class field trip episode to see how cashews are grown, because it's a quite crazy process. Cashews are one of the more expensive nuts in comparison. Part of why they're more expensive is because of how hard they are to get. Here's what you have to do to get each cashew. You have to make a cashew fruit that's this whole thing. Get that off the end, and then it still has a poisonous part you have to dry or something. You still have to, that's poisonous if you don't treat it right. But look at the whole cashew fruit that comes along with it. No wonder cashews are one of the more expensive nuts. Every cashew had one of those fruits on it. It's crazy. So I want to take a field trip to find one of those someday. So now, whenever we're looking at something on here, I should pull up the chat on my phone because if I pull it up on there, it's going to be a weird, like, hyper delay lag super thing. Um, we'll see many iterations, but not in a fun way. So I'm going to pull that open real quick. And isn't that pretty crazy? Cashews. Someday we really got to find one of those plants. So I brought a couple of those out for fun. Someone says, do I know about the pistachio tree? And I don't know. I think I have seen what they look like. Pistachio trees. Those look pretty. Get all these colorful things. Those look cool. Pistachios are one of the best nuts. So cashews are really good too. Those are some top tier nuts. Almonds are good too. Nuts are a good source of protein to bring out on the road. Good, nice and simple. But yeah, that's a cool tree. So those are just a little example of some weirder botany. I also, like I mentioned, did bring one cherry just because it's one of those different colored ones. You know, these ones that they make cherries in different colors. Like this is ripe, but they got the yellow ones. Cherries might be my favorite fruit when you have good cherries. If you can pick cherries right from a tree too, I've done that. That's like heaven. Now, cherries are so good. Some people don't understand them because they've just had wimpy little bad ratio cherries where it's almost all pit. But like this thing is only like 10% pit, you know, so a good cherry, it's not a troubling ratio. So, also, other stone fruits are really good. Peaches are good. Apricots are very underrated. Apricots are one of the top fruits. And about eating the cashew fruit, I don't know the exact details. So, cashew fruit edible. I know you can't see it right now, but I'm just looking it up real quick. Yeah, claims that they are edible. So, yeah, I wonder what they do with it. If they keep growing the cashews, do they eat the cashew fruits? I don't know. I want to get one someday. That sounds cool. Eat a cashew fruit and then dry the cashew off it. My favorite apple is probably this one type that grows on one branch on one tree in my yard. There's a grafted tree. Look at one of my snack break episodes on the main channel if you want to see this. One of the apples has a pink center, even though it's green on the outside. Like the inside meat is pink colored, and it's super good and tart and cool looking and good tasting. So, those are some cool fruits, and those aren't actually the crazy one that I got. Don't worry. Those are just ones I wanted to chat about. I actually got one that will surprise many of you that I will bust out in a moment. Yeah, they're all out of frame of the extra cool looking ones. So in a minute, I'll show you the really crazy one. And then we'll also, like I said, maybe look up some pictures of what fruits used to look like in the past. In the meantime, I'm hearing a cool bird, so I'm wondering if we can do a wildlife. Whoa, a leaf just fell. I wonder if we could do a wildlife appreciation minute. Oh, that looks like they're making some nests up there. That's cool. Let's look up upward and guys, check out. Seems like this could be nests. So it's kind of hard to see, but oh, there's a red type bird up there. Not sure if you guys can see any of the birds, but you got a couple birds flying up there, and it looks somewhat like a nest on part of it to me. So, always got to appreciate your wildlife, and including our crazy staghorn fern. What a plant. Now, quick combo class update of what we've been working on. I filmed a new episode yesterday. Just put out a new one also on the main channel, so make sure you've checked out that wild one called The Clock Hidden Inside the Number One, which does have a homemade clock to represent the clock I'm talking about. And I made the homemade clock out of a broken one, so I was able to reuse one of the frames of one of the shattered clocks. Um, so that one dropped pretty recently, and I just filmed the next one, which is another super mathy one. It's 20 minutes, another long mathy one, but super dope and interesting. It's this simple but beautiful math concept, and I found some random connections of my own between it and some other fields and topics that have come up. And also, it was a cold day that day when I was filming. So that was just yesterday, I guess. Time I stay busy, but yeah, it was yesterday morning. Very cold, and so I lit this campfire and kept relighting it to have some warmth throughout the episode. And I realized that I can find free firewood sticks on my block. Like there's trees that just drop branches that I can collect, and so I had a lot of fires, and then in the last scene to put out the fire, ended up getting quite sprayed with a hose. So I put that one scene where I get really sprayed as a sneak preview on Patreon for anyone who's there, and it will be in the main episode on the main channel next week in the next one. I also filmed a bunch of shorts recently, so I'll have a bunch more of those little 1 minute ones that draw a lot of people to the channel. And a couple random bonus math lessons, so a lot of fun stuff filmed. And probably will do a lot of live streaming over this next week or two, because I have a little bit less in terms of private students because of the holidays, and I feel like a lot of people, some people are more busy than usual this time, but some people have more extra time. So maybe while people have a break from school and work and stuff, it's time for some more bonus lessons and stuff. Although today is a little bit less of a mathy one and a little bit more of a snack-centric hangout and chat type one. In any case, that's some stuff going on in the combo realm. Thank you all for hanging around with me for now. And let me get ready to look at some old-fashioned fruits, and we'll look at a few old-fashioned ones, and then we'll jump into the cool fruit that I have right out of frame right there that might surprise you. So, let's look up old-fashioned fruits. Do, 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 do. All right. And we're going to look up, this is where we're going to start. Paintings of old watermelon. We're going to check out what watermelon, look at what watermelon used to look like. Look, okay, that is so much worse than modern watermelon. So, I don't even mean the seed ratio. First of all, they've even changed the seediness since I was a kid. When I was a kid, they didn't have that many seedless watermelons, it seemed like, unless it just wasn't around where I was or something. Now it's like they got all these watermelons seedless. Now, it was actually, I kind of missed some of the seeds because you can spit the seeds, and used to have like watermelon spitting contests. But the seeds get annoying too, so seedless is also chill. But not only the seeds, but look at these big white rindy bits. These white rindy bits weren't good tasting. So much less tasty meat, and they had like air in it too. Like there's like bits missing practically. Do they have any more? There's that one looks a little better. Maybe watermelon was starting to evolve a little more at that time. Oh yeah, we got to be careful looking up old watermelon things. We might get some racist stuff. That'll be bad. So, we will instead just look up paintings of old fruit and look up what some other ones used to look like. So, I want really old paintings, which is hard to get because these fancy paintings aren't as old. There's some more watermelon. This one looks weird. It has like all those sections, like what modern watermelon already kind of falls off into, but like extra like rindy bit on the inside. Okay, so that was just paintings, but I got to be careful here. I can't have anything crazy come up, otherwise I'll get my stream in trouble. So I need to check out, just in general, what old fruit used to look like. Now, I've seen some articles about this before, and let's hope this article doesn't have any like weird ads or anything that get the stream in trouble. So look at this. That was a banana. Wild watermelon. They use that same photo. Modern watermelon. Wild banana. Okay. You ready to see compared to a modern banana? Okay. You ready to see the difference? Now, real quick, we got to note that a lot of people peel the bananas this way. No, bad way. Here's what you get when you peel the banana this way. You break or bruise the front part sometimes. Then you have to try and hold the banana without having a good handle. And then after you're eating it, you get this little weird black brown nub bit at the end that's inedible. But when you go like this, like a monkey does, if you study monkeys who would be the trained experts in banana eating, they peel it like this. And then here's what you get. You can remove and toss the inedible little nub bit right away. You have a handle, and you don't destroy it. It folds off and peels off really easy. So there's a banana. Now look at the cross section of this compared to their banana. We've gotten all the seeds in the middle. We've gotten the seeds like minuscule and in the middle and edible. Or maybe those aren't even the same type of seed. I don't know. Those are actual seeds in theirs. That looks terrible. Imagine how hard it would be to get all the meat out from in there. Modern banana. I like how for modern banana, they don't just show a normal banana. It like looks modern. It looks like the modern banana comes in cylindrical slices. Yeah, what about future banana? They need a third picture. Past banana, present banana, guess of future banana. That would be a way better article if they guessed for the future too. Wild eggplant. Look at that. Now you know why it was called eggplant. Looks like a tiny little egg. Modern eggplant. Or other cultures call it different things. I'm used to calling it eggplant. Whatever you call that big one. Used to be worse. Wild carrot. Look at that carrot. Now that's a carrot. Even Bugs Bunny would have trouble with that one. Wild corn. Corn looked like wheat. This is one of the ones that always sticks in my head, apart from the watermelon, is remembering that corn used to look like wheat. Imagine trying to eat it like that. Now there's some corn. Natural peach. And modern peach. Yeah, the natural peach looked like a cherry. Tasted earthy and salty like a lentil. Oh my god. I wasn't even looking at what they tasted like, apparently. That's even worse than the size difference, is the taste difference. Earthy and salty like a lentil. All right. Let's hope none of those ads got me in trouble on the side. Um, so, fruit used to be so much worse. Those are just a few examples. Look at all the good fruits you get nowadays. Now, this is what I think will happen. We're going to continue down this road and have some epic fruit before long. We're already basically getting there. Like, these blueberries are just so large for what you expect a blueberry to be. So, all right. So, and Merry Christmas to everyone wishing me that. Thank you. I'll probably stream on Christmas because I don't celebrate that much of it, at least not this year, not doing too much. So, maybe I will see some of you then. Now, oh, and of course, we need to check in on the bell pepper, which is becoming increasingly orange. This bell pepper, whenever we check in, there's less and less green on it. Now, if it had stayed on the vine, it probably would have turned orange without the wrinkles, because a lot of orange ones, like we've said, originally were the same type of green ones that you buy, just at a different stage of ripeness. And here's one that's still green, but holding on some hope this one will randomly turn orange too. Now, maybe I'll plant them too. They could be a cool vine or something. We have the planter back there. And thank you to all the comments. I haven't been going through them too much today, but feel free to keep dropping any questions or thoughts. Now, to move toward the crazy one that I got today to share with you guys, I'm going to first go to a picture of what it is a type of. So, you guys know kiwi? So, let's get a picture of these up. So, you guys know kiwi? So, first, a few facts about these. For one, if they make your mouth tingly and tangy, they do that to me too, and I think it's actually a mild allergy. So I think just a lot of people are mildly allergic to them and they make your mouth tingly, but I deal with it because I have it very mildly and they taste really good. For two, a lot of people don't know you can eat the skin on them. You can bite right into that furry part and eat any part of it you want. For three, they come in strange other types of things that look kiwi-like. Like one time, and I have this on film in the past, I got to dig up the footage, I got these ones called kiwi berries. Look, they're little berry-like things, but they look like a kiwi on the inside. Now, if we are being technical, I think that the kiwi fruit itself is a botanical berry. I'm pretty sure. But, let's see. Is kiwi a berry botanically? Yeah, it's a true berry. So, they're all berries, but the one that they call kiwi berries are not only botanically, but also culturally berries. So maybe this is an underrated one on that middle of the Venn diagram of what berries are both botanically and culturally berries, such as blueberries and cranberries and gooseberries, and not that many. Kiwi berries. So, not only do they come in those, not only can you eat the skin of them, but there's a new twist to kiwis I have to show you today. So, let's look at the shape of all these, right? They're all like something you would hold like a little smaller than a baseball that's like a little obloid, and they're all like this one little roundish thing, right? Well, then tell me what the heck is up with these kiwis that I got at the market. Okay, I gotta make my screen the whole screen. Look, it's like three kiwis mutated together practically. Like it's like two mutated together from a distance, creating a whole third one. Look at these things. So they had these at this market near my house years ago, and I remember getting them, and I have it on film of me eating these. Um, that footage will be in the same place my kiwi berry footage is, wherever that is. And I hadn't seen them in a long time, and then now I'm back at that market, and I saw them, and I'm like, oh my god, those weird kiwis again. Any of you ever seen kiwis like this? All right, now I had the thing is I want to bite right in to show you guys you can eat the skin, but these were just in a big thing being touched by everyone at the market. And I had one that I washed, but the one I washed is the one I left inside. So I'm gonna have to go grab that in a minute, and then we can take a bite out of it. But have any of you seen any kiwis like this? That's pretty wild, huh? So, um, do 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 do. A super kiwi, new chain in the evolution cycle, someone thinks. Now, I do wonder if you tried to like be natural selection-y with these, if you let these grow and other ones grow in a zone, which one would take over? But now natural selection is affected by humans, and so it's like, which one would humans buy more? Now, I don't think humans would end up buying these always more often, but there would be a market for them when they're weird. So there might be like some culmination point where, with the help of humans, these are always like 5% of kiwis. Because if they were more, then they would just be, they wouldn't be rare. And if they were less, then they would be scarce and people would want more. So maybe evolutionarily, with the help of humans, we will always have 5% of kiwis look like this. But I don't know. All I know is before I had seen any like this, I was like, what the hell? And they had so many different ones in the bin. I grabbed a few, but these ones ended up looking kind of similar. But they had like a bunch of different ways that two kiwis were like joined together. Some of them were practically like too much looking like different body parts, like a variety of different body parts that they would practically get my stream flagged and taken down. You know, I'm already cutting it kind of close with holding up all of these. Oh, and my cat is coming. Sage. So now we get a little cat meow. Sage. Come here. Who wants a little cat meow? Sagey boo. That's a good little boy. He likes coming and helping me in the combo classroom. Very helpful. Now, I was gonna say, I might have spoilers of the episode I just filmed on the whiteboards, but luckily I already had to wipe the whiteboards off because I had to dry them because they got soaked when there was a lot of crazy water putting out the fire and such. A little bit of fire mixed in with the math episode because it was cold out here. Now, if we stream long enough later, we could consider doing a campfire, but I don't have the supplies to keep one going very long. It would be partially fueled by twigs and cardboard, so it wouldn't go very long. But there's a chance we'll do a campfire later. We could see what is it like to try and... If I had a thin enough stick, I could skewer these blueberries and cook them, because I've thought that before when I had blueberries. I was like, man, I want to skewer these on a stick and cook them on a fire. But you'll like split them open if you try and put them on a stick. They won't stay. But these blueberries are starting to get big enough, you could put them on a stick. So I would need a very long, thin stick, though. In any case, I did leave the campfire as an active possibility because we're near the end of the grade. That may be a trend, you know. Whenever we start a new grade, grade -2 probably won't start with a campfire in it. We'll see by the end. You know, when grade -2 hits, things, you'll be surprised. You know, there'll be a new desk, I'll have a good haircut, I might have a new lab coat, new whiteboard or two. It's going to look a little cleaner temporarily. Well, you know, when there'll be even bigger scale chaos, so Unless I get an even sturdier desk, which I might have to, it'll probably end up breaking even sooner percentage wise through the grade. So we'll see. But for now, we are in the latter portion of the grade when the classroom starts to look chaotic like this. Hey, Sage. Who's a nice little Sage? Hey, Sage. Who's a good boy? That's one of my little assistants. Yes, and you usually get Dandelion cameos more often because Dandelion was sleeping in my bed a lot the past couple weeks. But Sage is just as much of an all-star as Dandelion. And the new one who got adopted not long ago named Sassafras is very nice too. Speaking of which, I adopted him on Friday the 13th. And just so everyone knows, the next month has a Friday the 13th again. It's Friday the 13th time next month. And what if you had a calendar that every month had a Friday the 13th? Well, that may be a subject of an episode soon. And that sounds absurdist, but it's not designing a calendar around trying to have every Friday be a Friday the 13th, but there is a calendar proposal that works that happens to have every Friday be a 13th. I mean, every 13th be a Friday. Not every Friday's a 13th. That'd be really weird. Every 13th's a Friday. So, I might do some calendar themed stuff for this new year when the New Year's hits. About some alternate calendars that I think are pretty cool. So, peeking in with what's up with everyone, thank you for all of the random ones. Someone said to open a GoFundMe. I did just a few weeks ago open a Patreon, which isn't for a single project, but it's to fund all of the combo type projects, which are, me making all my strange videos and making the different ways I want to bring learning and experimenting to life for the world. So, to anyone who wants to fund any projects, there's always the Patreon. And those people also get cool bonus videos and get shouted out in credits sometimes and stuff. So, since I opened that just this month, I am less likely anytime in the near future to open a GoFundMe for any project. I am just funding all of my projects out of one source. Because they all have the similar quest right now. But one of the things that's not really a GoFundMe, but more of a petition that I might need to start before long is it's almost time, but not quite, for when I'm going to launch a official petition to try and get the word threeven in a dictionary. Now, when I first wanted to get threeven in a dictionary, I was serious about it, but now I'm even more serious because the more that I study stuff about number theory and in particular modular arithmetic and things with modular like patterns. Oh, look, Sage is playing with stuff. The more that I find times where threeven numbers are a useful nickname. Like you'll be saying something about evens and then you want another example and your next example has to use the term multiple of 3 instead of just having another example term ready that you can also mention threevens and their properties. So threeven needs to be in the dictionary, and that's not really a GoFundMe, but that is a petition I will start someday. But first I need to have a few more episodes out because I have a lot more thoughts about the reasons why it needs to be in the dictionary that I need to clarify for everyone first. Now, I realize that although I have my computer charger, I don't have the thing that lets it plug into the wall, which is like a power adapter extender thingy. So, because the outside plug here is weird. So, I need to run inside and grab my charger, and I need to grab the kiwi that I washed so I can eat the skin, but maybe Sage will keep you company in the meantime. So if he doesn't follow me, maybe you can hang out with Sage for now. I'll be back in a sec. We're back. Gotta plug in this computer though. All right. Sorry for the delay, but here we are back in action. And maybe Sage kept you company for a moment. Whoa. Okay, so whoa! These chairs really sink into the mud. So if it ever looks like I'm just like leaning over weirdly, it's probably because of this. So let me show you what happens to the chairs sometimes when it's muddy out. So this is flat ground. I don't know how well you can see that, but one of the legs is just completely diagonal. It sinks into the ground pretty crooked. So, got to sometimes unearth it back out of the mud. And then you get these trap holes, because now there's like a hole there that if you lean the wrong place, it's like, whoa! So yeah, got to be careful for the trap holes during mud season. All right. And I don't know where I put down the other weird kiwi, so I'll wash this one off with the hose. Hopefully Sage was around for a minute. We got a shout out to Sage. All right, yeah, people make sure not to spam too many comments. I like all the comments, but not too many of the same ones. And someone said put the legs on bricks. That sounds even more. And yeah, no, if they're on bricks, that sounds dangerous. Like I'll like slide off the brick and then they'll go into the dirt super hard. And yes, this is not where I sleep, but I do spend a lot of time here. This is my classroom, to be technical. So, for those who are like surprised that it's my home, it's not my home. Maybe a different sort of surprise to know this is where I teach. Um, so, all right, and yes, people make sure not to spam the same comment too many times, but I do appreciate people. And you're all awesome. So, yeah, if people say the same thing too many times, I'll have to take them out. So, in any case, I'm going to wash off one of these kiwis because, oh God, we're doing the mud thing again with the chair. It just, okay, yeah. Yeah, these pointy chairs aren't as good in this season. I need a less pointy-legged chair. This old chair will do. Less pointy. All right, so what we need to do is wash off one of these, and then we can take a bite out of it. All right. So, for those who don't believe that it would be good to eat a kiwi, now this one's a little underripe feeling. So, that's why those ones are going to save for a little bit and we'll eat them when they're more ripe. But this one, it's close enough to take a bite. And you can eat the skin of them. So, watch. People don't believe it, but The furry part is not bad. Throws people off that it's furry, but it's a little tart, but it gives a good little counterbalance. I wouldn't usually eat all of it, but I might throw in a bite of it along with it sometimes. So, surprisingly good to eat all the skin. But yeah, this one's underripe, but it also seems to have like this spine in it. There's like this spine like bit in there. It seems like it's like a bone holding the whole thing together. So we might have to cut this open in a minute. All right. So that was a little look at how weirdly shaped some fruits can sometimes come in. And do I still have a knife out here? Um, Maybe I don't still have a knife out here. Can hang a clock or two back on the tree though. Yeah, no knife, but another branch for the fire for later. That's good if we need that. Um, so we'll have to chop into the inside of this one to see its. I was gonna say like its bone structure because this feels like a spine, but I hope it doesn't have bones. Um, but whatever's going on inside there, it'll look as similar to a normal kiwi. Um, and it tasted when I ate some of it close to ripe. It didn't taste super far off. The inside tasted like way less ripe right on the inside, but the outside part tasted pretty close. But these ones, I definitely decided to leave for longer so that we can try it at a more ripe state. So those ones I'm not going to bite into for a few more days. All right. And cool. Thank you everyone for random comments. Let's see. Yeah. And so what we're going to move on to now is I forgot to have a little blueberry celebration while we looked at what they used to look like. Maybe I'll Google if there is any pictures of what blueberries used to look like. I'll make the screen go to that if it's cool. Is there any images of what blueberries used to look like? There's not. But here's the thing. Blueberries growing wild in like a vast quantity where you can pick any amount of them is like a dream to me. I've had places where I've had an infinite quantity basically of blackberries growing wild because that's closer to the climate in the California area where I am. But infinite blackberries are super cool, but they feel less rare to me because I get them like pretty much any summer. I know these cool spots. But infinite blueberries growing wild is still a concept I need to encounter that happens at some places that, oh, if I'm ever let free into a blueberry field, I'll have the time of my life. So look how big they're making them. Just crazy. Now, that's actually a good berry. These were really cheap on good berry. So, normally the smaller ones can actually be sweeter. Sometimes big does not mean more sweet, but they're learning to make the big ones sweet too. All right. So, let's see. Let me tune back over to the comments. I always mess up the technology. So, someone's asking if I mean small Nordic blueberries, and I'm not sure. Um, I don't know if they're the Nordic type, but I know there are small wild ones that have a different flavor that are like more flavorful and sweet that are slightly different, but not sure what type they are. Blue I am a fan of blueberries. I think blueberries are top tier, but I know they're not for everyone, but blueberry is a just representation of a classic type of fruit. It's like the classic berry. It emphasizes both the cultural and botanical berry. Um, Someone asked to show Dandelion, and I can't just show Dandelion, my cat. I can't just teleport him here. If I mean, hopefully he'll visit. That'd be pretty cool. But I can't just try and find him. He could be anywhere. Dandelion, he could be chilling on someone's bed. He could be on a mission, hanging out somewhere. Um, and yeah, my cats go all over the place. You never know when they'll pop by or when they won't. We could take a field trip to the front yard, and that makes it more likely we'll see a cat. So if people want, they can comment front yard if they want any field trips. But uh, although that'll make it more likely to see a cat, and there's a different type of likelihood you get when we stream in my room that there could be a bed cat. They go where they want. You know, I can't control them, can't teleport them at my will. I let them wander, and they like hanging out with me, so they return. Um, so we could go to the front yard in a minute, maybe. You know, that's a possibility. Speaking of animals, maybe I'll take a little peek back here and see. Although they always hide and vanish different places, if there's any notable signs of worm or isopod action going on in here. And also just see how our ready to plant things are going. Because I was waiting to plant these things until they sprouted a little more on their own, and they're starting to do it. Like, this is what I meant by waiting to sprout a little more on their own. Look at that. The onion's making that come out. So this is about ready to plant in the soil and start watering, and then it'll go on a crazy journey you guys are going to see. So this is going to be living in the back of the combo class, growing crazy stuff. Here's also a garlic that I'll separate the cloves probably. In fact, let's separate them now just to give them a little more breathing room, and then we're not going to plant them quite yet, but we'll give them a little more breathing room so that they can maybe more of them will get sprouts like this one has. This one is the star pupil. That one's already getting a good start. So yeah, separate a few of these so they can get a little more growth maybe beforehand. And we got our double onion. It's sort of weird double fella. You see this double onion thing? Sort of like the double kiwi. You got your double kiwi, your double onion, all sorts of stuff going on with these plants these days. Then you got your potatoes over here, which they're not growing their weird alien tendrils that fast, but they're getting a couple of them. Yeah, so these ones I was also waiting to plant until they grew more alien-y things, and they're just getting a couple coming out. So we might plant them soon anyway. Might be at the time where they've gotten started on their little alien journey. All right. And that's about what we got going on for the edible things currently in the combo classroom. Someone says they thought Dandelion was behind me. I don't think he's behind me. Sage was here earlier. That was his Dandelion's brother. And why cats though? Someone asked. Am I a cat person? I do like cats a lot. They're partially you can give them. I would say there are two reasons why I would have cats instead of a common one like a dog, which is that cats and dogs are both super awesome. You can get a lot of love out of them. But dogs, to give them a good happy life, you have to put in a lot more energy. Cats can be more free on their own. Dogs are more like you're taking a big commitment if you want to give it a happy life. And I'm able to give my cats really happy lives with all I need to do is like pet them and feed them, give them love and care and stuff in like a lesser degree because they are self sufficient and they can take care of themselves in a lot of ways. And so I think that maybe I would get a dog someday if I had a big, massive outdoor property in the woods and I could just run around with my dog or something. But I don't want to commit on going on walks with a dog like every day on city streets to make sure that I give it a happy life. Um, so it's hard to keep a dog happy in a city. And cats, there's a big yard here that my family shares with a few other houses. So the cats can like wander around a bunch and they have a good life here. And so it's easier to have a happy cat here in the city right now. And that's part of the reason. And the other part is that I do actually really love cats. Cats are wise and chill and nice, and people always have disses they want to throw toward cats, saying that they have like inferior traits to other things like dogs, saying that cats like aren't loyal or that they don't know how to play or that they this or that. But those people just are bad at raising cats or haven't tried or something, because my cats are incredibly loyal and they always come when they're called. They always come cuddle me if I'm in a sad mood, and they can tell. They always they're very playful. They like playing with stuff. They'll do games with me. They're very smart. So maybe people are just bad at raising good cats. But cats are super cool. My cats are extra cool. The next pet I get might be some weird type of reptile or amphibian too, because I have a fish tank that I kind of want to put these aquatic frogs I saw once in. So maybe someday I'll get aquatic frogs. So, let's see. But dogs are cool too. I like dogs as well. Um, and um, thank you all. Someone wants to see more of the yard. The front yard I like share with other houses, so I can't be as crazy or loud or hang all my clocks out there or whatever. But we can visit there sometimes. Got some good plants out there. It's in some of my episodes, in my snack break episodes mostly. Um, and so there's footage of various corners of the yard, although there are still some mystery zones. Um, we also just have plenty going on out here in our little corner, including some zones you guys don't know as much about, like the little corridor with bamboo over there. You have only seen a few times. Um, but we could always take a little peek at the front yard at some point just to see what's going on out there. Um, it's winter, so there's not as much cool stuff blooming. But with that said, it's nice. Um, so let's think about what else we might focus on for today. I do have it set up so I was ready to go on possibly doing any of our weird live antics with the computer. Yeah, this is charging not great. Um, any of our, yeah, why is it not charging right? Let's see. Yeah, it's not charging very good, but maybe that's because of this whole setup I have it going through. And I was have it set up so I was saying so we could do our other usual stream antics, like where we look at weird graphs or talk to robots and stuff. But I might split it and do a two-part stream so that I can go longer later. So I might cut off this part of the stream in a little bit. Um, and then later, what we might do is a more digital based one where my face is just fully small in the corner, and we get to do our weird graphs and robot suggestions and stuff like that. So, feel free if you want to ask any more comments or thoughts, leave them in the comments here. And then another option we can also do later if we need would be to light a campfire when it's dark. And since that's a fun possibility, what we should do is while it's light, set up a few twigs and sticks in there and some cardboardy stuff just in case later if we're doing a room stream and we want to check out the classroom, we could get light from a tiny bit of campfire. I've been having fun doing all these campfires. It's a good season for it because it gets dark way too early here. Right now, it just passed being the longest night of the year in the Northern Hemisphere, the summer solstice. And that means that right now, with that and daylight savings, here it's getting dark at like barely after 5 p.m. It sucks. So, I like the summer more. But the good thing about the winter is that it gives us an excuse to do our campfires and to celebrate other types of warmth and stuff. To those who want to have some other good holiday wishes thrown your way, check out my stuff about my dreidel dice and about the solstice and about other stuff on a bonus video I put out on this channel a day or two ago. All right, so I don't have much for sticks because I haven't recently hunted on the block. But when I did last, there were some extra sticks for yesterday's shoot of the more twig-like variety I got. So I'm going to start with a bit of cardboard here and then a few twigs. It's not going to be an official formal campfire because we don't have much for good wood, but I feel like there was some more around here somewhere. Where was that? Alright, sorry going wood hunting. Maybe there was some around here somewhere. Oh, here's a piece. Huh. One piece. So, not much for actual sticks. However, if we need to pop out here later tonight or tomorrow during the night, we'll at least have something we could light momentarily to create a little bit of warmth. And light, of course. Okay. Now, since I didn't end up getting out a knife, I think I'm just going to try and split this open with my hands a little bit so we can see the inside of this kiwi. Yeah, so it had this spine thing running through it. Partially because it was underripe. And I'm going to let the other ones ripen more before we chomp on those. But partially maybe because of this long shape. Like, look at this Frankenstein-like stitchy thing on there. So, Yeah. Who knows exactly what's going on with these ones when they're ripe? Those ones will ripen a bit. So once those are riper, because they will ripen off vine, we will see if it still has that weird spine in the middle. For now, I will eat this later. Just might require silverware or something. All right. And to everyone who's still sticking around, I think I am going to head out now. But you are all super awesome. I am going to plan on most likely a little bit later doing a cool stream in my room of one of our fun talking to robots and doing graph sort of variety. And we do have a campfire set up there for if we need to take a field trip later then. To anyone who's not able to attend that, remember watching the streams after the fact will be fun as well. And make sure to check out all the cool links here, like there's the Discord and the newish Patreon and a new main channel episode that came out very recently. So a lot of cool stuff there. Also, a lot more content coming on this channel, like shorts and stuff soon. But I think for now, I will wrap up, work on a thing or two, eat some food, and then most likely see you for some wild graph and robot type things, and maybe campfire type things in my room, hopefully with Dandelion later. So, love you all. Check out all those links and the new main